And I'm talking to myself. That's just beautiful. God knows why McCree and Hanzo were assigned to this mission. Yeah, this is fucking weird. It sounds beautiful. It sounds perfect. Perfect thing to read while you're streaming. Okay, good. We're on air. We're all live. I'm gonna give it a few moments. Maybe let me turn off the music completely. Let me bump up the TV a bit. Okay, speak. That's good. Okay. Might echo a little bit. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Got you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, you have to start it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Like I said, my Hanzo impression might not be good.
That don't matter. How about my Hanzo impression's gonna be good?
Okay. What? Hanzo snapped at the cowboy standing next to him.
Nothing. McCree cooked back, sipping a glass of whiskey.
Then why are you smiling? Hanzo rolled his eyes, knowing asking would be useless. He looked back down to the two wanted posters that laid in the front of him. Overwatch has sent the two of them to retrieve two people they believe would be of use to them. They go by the names Junkrat and Roadhog.
God knows why McCree and Hanzo were assigned to this mission together. They never talked to each other, only occasionally Hanzo would catch McCree's lingering eyes during debriefs or training. They were at some kind of bar in Sydney, Australia. Now it's almost 2 in the morning, but this bar was still open. McCree, Hanzo, and the bartender were the only people inside. They had spent the day traveling here, which was awkward enough. Now they were stuck with each other until they found these two. Oh, fucking. Yeah.
McCree finally sat down next to Hanzo at the round wooden table. He grabbed the poster with Roadhog's face plastered on it.
Why are we chasing these criminals anyway? McCree asked while looking at the poster over.
Your guess is as good as mine. Hanzo sighed Hanzo sighed and rubbed his eyes with the back of his hand.
You're tired? McCree asked, looking over to the other man.
Yes. Where was our hotel again? Hanzo had begun to be tired enough. Start to forgetting things. He slipped his own glass of whiskey until it was gone.
Across the street, McCree flickered his head in the direction of the entrance.
I will be leaving then. Hanzo stood, but immediately lost his balance. He fell forward and grabbed another chair and a huff.
Whoa there, partner. How many of these things did you have? McCree stood and placed a hand under Hanzo's arm to stabilize him. Hanzo's eyes went wide at the feeling of McCree's hand on his bare skin.
Sorry, that's really funny.
That was fucking... I mean, this is gold. This is beautiful.
Okay.
You have to whisper.
Just two, Hanzo whispered, locking eyes with the tall man.
Can't really handle your alcohol, can you? McCree smiled, making Hanzo feel strange. Hanzo's skin seemed to tingle where McCree held him. He shook his head and tried to stand on his own.
I suppose not. Hanzo stabilized himself and took another step, feeling wobbly.
Let me walk you back. Don't want you falling. McCree nodded, and Hanzo agreed and sat back down. McCree paid the tab at the bar and strolled back to Hanzo, who was feeling the effects of whiskey now more than ever. He was practically mesmerized by McCree, someone who he didn't think he liked, with one hand holding the wanted posters and the other around Hanzo's waist. They walked through the bar and outside, letting the cool air fill their lungs. McCree noted that to the street they had walked downstairs, unsure how Hanzo would do getting down. McCree stepped before him and faced him to guide him down the stairs. McCree still holding Hanzo bare side.
What the hell?
Hanzo took a few steps very carefully. On the last two, he tripped and fell onto McCree's shoulders. Hanzo placed a hand on either of McCree's shoulders, pushing up. His breath hitched when he realized he was only a few inches from McCree's face. Both of their breathing had become shaky. McCree's eyes flickered from Hanzo's lips to his... At McCree's eyes flicked from Hanzo's lips to his eyes, and back to his
What up, Fox?
lips. McCree bit his own lip before pulling back and helping Hanzo down the remaining steps.
Sorry, Hanzo muttered. McCree nodded and helped them across the barren street and to the hotel room.
Just kidding.
Whoa. I don't appreciate your far mercy here.
Just a prank.
Nothing's up. We're just reading some McHanzo fanfic. Okay. It was the kind that had no lobby, and the rooms were all facing outdoors. While Hanzo placed most of his weight onto McCree's shoulder, McCree reached into his pocket and grabbed the key he was given by the clerk earlier today. He opened the door and let go on Hanzo so he could stumble in. McCree closed and locked the door behind him and turned into the room. Hanzo was sitting on a bed with which McCree realized was the only bed. Hanzo looked up at McCree with a short sort of innocence that McCree had not seen in Hanzo. McCree walked over to Hanzo and faced him. Okay, wait. I'll sleep on the floor, I suppose, he started to sit down on the ground, but Hanzo stopped him, grabbing McCree's mechanical arm and pulling him back up. Hanzo still held onto McCree's silver arm and looked up. Oh, to him.
No, Hanzo. Wait. Do you do this or?
Oh,
wait.
No, this is you. Okay.
No, Hanzo put him down to eye level. Stay with me, Hanzo whispered in a shaky voice.
McCree almost kissed Hanzo, doing what he had wanted to since the day he met the stoic angry man. McCree wanted to push him onto the bed and do unthinkable things to him. He wanted to do that more than anything, but he stopped himself. No. McCree pulled himself free of Hanzo's grab and stood upright. You're drunk, and I'm not that kind of man. McCree walked away from the bed and rounded the corner to their bathroom. Without saying another word, he slipped into the bathroom and shut the door behind him. He turned on the faucet and splashed water on his face. He stared into the mirror and shook his head. Hanzo had never acted like this before. He always acted like he resented him. But now, Hanzo was trying to kiss him. McCree even noted that his pants had gotten
I'm gonna go
noticeably
if this is the
tighter
whole
since they
video.
left the bar. A few drinks in him when Hanzo had an erection and... Damn. Hanzo had an erection and a want from McCree, but McCree was never that kind of man, and never would he be. He never would be. Ugh. He wasn't going to take advantage of his lack in judgment. Perhaps he would still want him sobers, but the chances seemed slim, and the thought made McCree sad. McCree opened the door and saw Hanzo fast asleep on top of the blankets. He was curled up around a pillow. McCree smiled and tilted his head to the side. He looked peaceful. McCree gently placed the covers over him and pulled his hair free from its elastic. It didn't look like a comfortable thing to have on your head while you slept. Hanzo's hair fell around his cheeks softly as he snored. Very quiet. Fuck, he's cute, McCree thought, staring down at the sleeping man. McCree grabbed a pillow and threw it to the ground. He wasn't looking forward to sleeping on the ground, but he knew he should. He slumped to his knees and laid on his head on the pillow. He fell asleep, praying that Hanzo would still want him tomorrow.
Oh god.
Oh, what can I get you? The small blonde woman asked the two men as they sat at a cafe. Coffee, McCree smiled.
Tea, Hanzo said groggily.
She nodded and disappeared behind the kitchen. Hanzo had woken up with a raging headache, and McCree woke up with an aching body from the still floor. Hanzo looked his usual angry self. McCree feared that Hanzo regretted coming on to him. Hanzo shut his eyes and rubbed his temples. About last night, McCree started.
It didn't happen. Hanzo snapped, his eyes still shut.
Oh, McCree felt his stomach flip as he sunk into the chair. His fears had come true. Hanzo sighed and looked at the defeated man. He had no idea he liked McCree, or even liked men, for that matter, until last night. He wasn't sure what got into him, but McCree touched him and helped him so gently, aroused him more than he had ever been. Hanzo sipped on the tea that he brought to him. It tasted awful, but he didn't care. McCree quietly drank his coffee, trying to not look at Hanzo because he knew it would make him sad. He had liked Hanzo for so long, and to be utterly rejected hurt like a bitch. For what? McCree muttered. He shouldn't have to apologize for having cool feelings.
I shouldn't have said that.
Hanzo
flashes his eyes up to meet McCree's soft eyes. If I'm being honest, I'm very attracted to you and don't know what to do about it. Hanzo admitted timidly.
McCree choked on his coffee and started coughing. Hanzo laughed, feeling more at ease now. McCree smirked at Hanzo and leaned forward slightly.
I take it you've never been attracted to a man. Oh, wait. Oh, what? What?
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I'm sorry, who is this now?
This is McCree! McCree's talking.
Oh, fuck. I take it you've never been attracted to a man before. He cooked. Hanzo blushed and broke McCree's intense gaze.
No, he murmured.
There's no shame in that, McCree winkled and leaned back in his chair. McCree knew not to push him any more than he wanted. Hanzo needed to process his feelings on his own. McCree was content just knowing Hanzo had feelings for him. They both ordered and ate in relative silence, only occasionally talking about their mission. They had informed of where to catch the two, but they weren't sure. They couldn't be sure if they weren't hostile. You're staring at me again, Hanzo. Right? Oh, fuck. It's Hanzo.
Okay. You're staring at me again. Hanzo raised an eyebrow while sipping his tea.
Oh God. I always stare at you, darling. McCree tipped his hat, and Hanzo got the same strange feeling in his pit of his stomach that he had last night. McCree was such a mystery to Hanzo.
What does BAM... No, hold up. What does BAMF mean? Hanzo asked. He had always wondered but never had a chance to ask.
You really want to know? McCree asked, raising her eyebrow. Hanzo nodded. Badass motherfucker, McCree smirked proudly. The two finished their meals and left to travel around Sydney. Neither had been to Australia before, so it was strange. They were lost a few times but managed to find their way back. They went to where they were instructed to find Roadhog and Junkrat, but neither were there. They asked people around the area, and they were all horrified to answer these questions about... And all there, they were horrified, blah. The two, it seems like everyone feared these two. Why would Overwatch want to befriend them? McCree and Hanzo searched and talked to people all day. But unable to narrow down anything about them. They also refused to talk about their earlier encounter for sake of staying focused, but Hanzo couldn't help but notice McCree's constant ability to find ways to touch him or subtly flirt with him. Usually Hanzo would be annoyed by somebody flirting with him, but during something important, but Hanzo really liked it when McCree did it to him. McCree knew it too. Every time McCree brushed up against him or touched his arm, Hanzo just get this look about him. I think we should can it today, McCree said as the last person they questioned walked away.
What time is it? Hanzo asked, looking up to the McCree, who checked his watch.
It's high noon. 8. Hanzo nodded and suggested they find a cab. They found a busy road with a few cabs, none of which they could get to stop. Eventually, McCree got fed up that he stuck his fingers in his mouth and whistled, making every person on the block stare at him.
Where did you learn to do that? Hanzo asked as McCree pulled his hands from his mouth.
Don't know, I've always been able to. McCree shrugged as the cab pulled up to the curb they stood at. McCree walked around to the other side of the car and got in while Hanzo told the driver where to go from the curb. Hanzo opened the door and slammed the car door behind him.
F word.
Hanzo said it.
What? McCree asked, confused. You mind reading this part? Okay.
I'll read this part.
What?
Hanzo held up his right hand, which he apparently slammed into the doorway. It was turning purple and blood trickled down 2 of his fingers. Hanzo looked for something to wrap his fingers with. While McCree saw opportunity. McCree grabbed his hand, making Hanzo look from his hand to McCree's smirk he wore on his face. Hanzo was about to ask what he was doing, but McCree pulled up his hand and put his bleeding fingers into his mouth. Oh my gosh. Hanzo let out a strange... Oh god! A strangled grunt from his throat as McCree sucked on them for a moment before pulling him out. Hanzo bit down as McCree...
What do you need help with?
I'm downgrading
Knuckles. Softly.
Windows 10 is so buggy, and I figured out it's not
Oh
Blizzard.
my
The problem that
gosh.
my game crashes all the time is Windows 10.
Why not Windows 7?
Why would I go Windows 7 when I can just go to Windows 8 though?
Because Windows 7 is better than Windows 8.
I like Windows 8.
Windows 8 sucks. Windows 7 would also be later on your system.
I think Windows 8 will work out well, but
Windows 7 will be better. Trust me.
I didn't see an option to download Windows 7 from Windows 8.
That's because Windows 8 sucks, so they're gonna like be like, yo, go ahead and download it.
Well, do you want to help me?
But I'm like reading great fan fiction.
Like,
But what about the McHanzo fan fiction?
I don't know. Do you think it'll make my computer run a little better too?
I still will say Windows 7 would be better, even if
Okay,
you had
well
to.
then we'll do Windows 7, but can you help me? I don't remember how to do an ISO file on Drive or whatever. I know I have to re-download everything, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you can put it onto the pink hard drive. Actually, go ahead and get your Overwatch and some other things that you probably want to keep and put that on the pink hard drive.
So anything I put on there will stay okay?
Well, you'll have to drag it back onto the computer, but yeah.
Alright, where's the pink hard drive?
I don't know. And also we'll need USB. And you're going to have to download Rufus.
Roofie?
Rufus.
Alright.
Right here. One sec.
Can you help me?
Let me open a new tab. I'm going to show you. Come here.
Fine. Or am I putting it on the hard drive?
See, Rufus spelled with that.
Mm-hmm.
And you download this. And once you get
Oh,
that...
that's how we'll make the boot for the USB drive?
Yeah.
How are we
Once you get that, once you get the operating system, and you get all those files you want put onto the pink hard drive, then come get me, and I'll help you with this.
Okay, and then how am I gonna, am I gonna always have to use the USB? Or is that just until I get Windows onto my PC?
That's until you fully install it.
Okay.
That's just creating a installable. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. We're not working anymore, McCree whispered and leaned towards a very nervous Hanzo. Oh my god. McCree placed a soft kiss on Hanzo's open mouth and put his mechanical hand on Hanzo's sharp cheekbones. He smiled, kissing him again, but still kept his mouth shut. Close to Hanzo entwined his hurt hand with McCree's hand and leaned forward, kissed McCree. After almost a minute of kissing him, McCree pulled away very abruptly and sat on his side of the cab. Hanzo was confused and wanted to pull him back, but he knew that McCree was playing games with him and wanted him to grow with angst. Hanzo shook his head and huffed. He then realized the tightness of his pants. His face turned pink as he fidgeted with his pants in hopes McCree would notice. Oh no! Oh god! No! No! Doesn't take much to rile you up, does it? McCree grinned
Oh
at the
gosh.
frazzled man. As soon as the cab driver pulled up to their hotel room, Hanzo got out, gave the man money, and told him to keep the change. Hanzo didn't want to wait any longer to get what he wanted. McCree unlocked the door and walked in with Hanzo, following. As soon as the door was closed, oh yes, oh yeah, and locked, Hanzo grabbed McCree and threw him onto the bed. Eager, McCree teased, taking off his hat and throwing it aside.
A little. Hazel helped as he pushed his sleeve down, revealing his entire chest. Oh my gosh.
Oh, oh God. Oh. Okay, you're reading this. This is audio. I'm gonna close the door. Actually, I'm gonna be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna possibly get a headset, which will be better, so that not everyone hears this. I probably already got several questions.
Oh gosh. Poggers. The chat. Let's get the juice. My XCV impressions are retarded. Please, don't hurt me. You skid it. Oh gosh. Just read the next paragraph of this Hanzo fanfiction. I don't know if I want to read it. Oh my gosh. Positive vibes, man. Not this time. Is that all you do, man? Gotta do better than that. Gosh, it's so hot. You gotta be kidding me. The game shut down because it lasted too long. Let's do something else besides that.
Traveling to Volskaya Industries. Preparing defenses. Select your hero.
Hey, hey, hey. No inviting anybody. It's just our game. Just a regular night. You guys can have all the fun. You gotta be kidding me. Why'd you invite these people? If one of them joined, I'm leaving. Well, leaving. guys might want to leave because reading fan fiction, unless you want to hear it. Or we can join a party.